You're watching my favorite YouTube channel. I am Chill Monger. It was a very uneventful day. There were closing arguments that happened when Jonathan Majors arrived in the courtroom that day, where he had his girl Megan Good's mom, which is incredible, and then his mom as well, showing up, not looking as usual for what the last time, or we thought it would be the last time, except it's not going to be the last time. It'll be the second last time. They had closing arguments that didn't lead to a verdict. Instead, some of the juries wrote a note and they gave it to the judge asking for clarification on somebody's charges. Kind of worrisome. I think like it's been how many days now? You should know what exactly you're charging. For them to ask for clarification on the charges, I guess that just means they're taking their job extra super seriously, and they're like, okay, wait, did he actually intentionally? What counts as intentional assault? What counts as reckless assault? Let's just get that clear so that they can't say that we were some biased jury. Maybe that's what's happening. But if they had like I don't know an extra hour or so, because when they did that, that was at 3:50 p.m. and they wrap every day around 4 or 4:30. Since they did it so soon, so close to closing up, and they didn't ask for extra time, we got to sit with that. The closing arguments though came out. Priya Chaudhry told you guys it's about racism. See, if I'm Priya Chaudhry, what I'm doing is I'm gonna go. Listen, jury, it's been a long time for you, but it's been even longer for Jonathan. And she did say this. All Jonathan did was dial 911 and then face the ramifications of who the police officers are in the city, who the district attorney is in Manhattan. I would really impose on like how this is racism and you could be complicit or you could be someone who cuts that to it and stops it from progressing. If you want Jonathan to be punished just a little bit, but not too much, that already happened. 8 straight months of his name and his profession and what he stands for, the great man who he is. I would even say that. This Jonathan Majors guy just had to live through a whole bunch of malarkey, a whole bunch of besmirchments. She even cried. Priya Chaudhary was crying, according to a report from Jimmy, who was inside the gallery. He's not a reporter. He's, you know, regular people who isn't stupid. I was gonna say racist. I don't think these reporters may be racist. They are acting. They're on that. They're promoting, but they think that they're doing some sort of like female empowerment, stand up for the women. Da, 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 da. They're just choosing the wrong champion. It is impeding on some sort of progressive, forward anti-racism movement when they're so blindly following their college campus rhetoric, their college campus influences from 15 years ago, and now here they are in the real world affecting matters. Every single one of these reporters, these guys or these girls, mostly white women, including Cheyenne Roundtree. The white women are just blinded in a blind rage without considering what else they learned in college campus, which is that Black Lives Matter and racism is bad and shit. But they're not thinking that way. So I don't think they're racist. I'm just looking at them like idiots, not socially conscious. Maybe dated a black guy once, so they can't be racist. When it comes to the closing arguments, I'm doubling down, tripling down on the police, reminding you that she's a liar, reminding them that don't ignore what you just saw. Jonathan did everything you're supposed to do and everything that we tell our men to do. When you're in a situation with a woman, he was trapped in a car, moving vehicle. He asked for this moving vehicle to stop. As he was trying to escape the car, you could see him getting out on his side of the car, and she was right there. Don't ever think of him pushing her as an act of aggression when you can only push someone who's in your space. And if he's already tried to leave the car, but she's in his seat, she is in his space. You want to say he pushed him several times. How stupid does that sound? For someone to be pushed several times, they need to be returning to you several times. In every single physical interaction that you viewed Jonathan do in this video, it was only to protect himself, which is made evident as she resumes following him until he has to jet and run away, which you could even see that his coat was ripped. We have the physical proof here. Other proof that we have is the bleeding. We all know what her ear looked like. Don't ever forget those pictures because the blood wasn't present during any of the hours of surveillance video that we have seen and watched her in. Not once could you make that out, but here she is upstairs. There was no blood in the car, as we asked the driver. Meanwhile, I forgot to mention, the driver of the vehicle says that it was all her and he did nothing, or whatever the exact quote is. I would read that from the quote from the interpreter translated from Urdu. So I would read that. There was no blood inside the car. Here's a hug that she has with Chloe. Chloe doesn't have any stains or blood. No one complains about blood. She texts him all this time, doesn't say anything about how she's bleeding. We see the club video not bleeding, and this incident happened, or this injury happens upstairs in his home, which all he did was call 911 for her, not even knowing that 13 minutes ago she was already texting one of her friends and seemingly alert with her phone. Jonathan had the decency, as the cops were coming up, the decency to reach over for a little blanket or a little quilt or whatever it was. It wasn't a comforter, but it was something thin to place. He even raced up ahead of the cops when they were coming up the stairs so that he could place that on her lower body. Jonathan did everything to protect this woman up until the arrest. Immediately afterwards, she recanted her statements. These are the text messages. She said, "I wasn't strangled," which the cops just made up and isn't part of the charges today. But remember that this is what the headlines were trying to hurt this man. I would tell the jury everything that happened and every single article that came out. There were articles saying that there would be multiple women who would come forward and trying to hurt this man to make him seem and paint him as an abuser even before his day in court. He didn't know that. Here's an article from da da da. And as the women who are writing these articles are in the stand, right? I don't know if Tatiana Siegel's in the gallery, not the stand, the gallery. In the courtroom, I'd be like, da da da, written by, and I'd point over right here. This is the Cheyenne Roundtree of Rolling Stones. 40 victims in Yale University. They had you believe. No, I guess you wouldn't want to say that. I guess you wouldn't want to say that to make to tell people that there's more accusers, right? But here's yeah, that probably wouldn't work. But that's just me. That's me being sour to me. Like, listen, hey, the one who wrote that is there. Here's the one that this person was covering this trial, and you wouldn't know it. Instead of saying that she ran after Jonathan, they were saying that Ms. McMahon was following Jonathan on foot. The the words, the wordplay, and the damage and the hurt that this man has been facing, jury, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, has been widespread and rampant. Then, and I saw, and I read that Jonathan had like a tissue paper and he was dabbing his eyes. He's an actor. That's the thing. Like he's gonna be accused of being a professional liar, and so that's the performance. He saved this one for the. I heard Daniel Kaluuya when he was auditioning for his movie role in something Get Out. There was a tear that he did in his audition, and then they said, "Okay, cut, do it again," and 3 times that same tear peaked at his performance. He made himself cry. So people can do it. Jonathan may be able to do it, and that'll look bad on him, or who cares at this point? Like you can't fight camera footage that we all got to see of him escaping her, and then he dialed 911 on himself. Really? See, it'd be one thing if she's saying, "No, no, no, upstairs in my unit." That's when Jonathan did all the work to me. That'd be one thing, right? But you really think this guy called 911 on himself for something that happened 11 hours ago? Or do you think the district attorney got this arrest that the police fabricated and they're like, okay, let's see what we can do here. We're going to dig into his whole past. Let's just go 11 hours ago. Okay. That's when Jonathan, yeah. Oh, you guys had a fight? Yeah. Even though there's clearly text messages where she says that she had to get scrappy with Jonathan. Those are text messages that exist that she admits to. We have a driver who says it was all her. But man, this is going to trial. Why did we like give this the attention it had? Man, that sucks. And what sucks really, really, really much is just the day that was wasted today. Did the DA, Kelly Galloway, did she go really long on purpose? The first way she began was like, this is about power, control, abuse. I'm like, that's not his 4 charges. She kept on talking about other things as an observer. I'm just going, okay, this Kelly Galloway has lost me just from the beginning. It's not Jonathan against Ms. McMahon. It's Jonathan against the people, the district attorney. Yeah, he is against the system, a very corrupt system. We just saw cops on the stand lying about each other. A cop telling another cop for the whole thing with the strangulation. They muted the audio. How the fuck do you mute audio of an arrest that is relevant on March 25? That is relevant to this day. How do you mute audio? How is that okay? There's not a systemic issue that he's facing against, that Jonathan's up against? And then there's audio that you actually hear her, but they said, "No, we can't play that audio of her shrieking." Well, the driver said he could hear her shrieking and yelling from outside the car. So do, I'm sure what's her name? Chloe? I'm sure Chloe, that little bystander, who Good Samaritan, I'm giving applaud to, Good Samaritan. Chloe could probably recognize what her voice sounded like. Side note, a little lie that Biz McMahon was telling about, like, "Hey, do you remember that selfie that you just took in the club with Chloe? Did she send it to you?" I don't remember." That you would she couldn't recall that. You would be led to believe that they have like a conversation daily, and she can't really scroll up through to see all the old messages to remember if she took a photo with it. She said, "I don't remember." Chloe comes and she says, "Yeah, I haven't spoken to her since March." You mean the last time you talked to her was the first day you met her? Oh, at the birthday party. Okay, that sounds suspicious. You just had like a not credible witness for 4 straight days lie to a jury, and for some reason they didn't just solve this. Priya Chaudhry was like, "You guys got to do it as quick as possible." That's a quote, "as quick as possible." And maybe if they had 10 more minutes, maybe we would have been at the end of it. But we got to wait a whole more day, and I'm sad that we got to wait a whole more day. What you should do though is get meme friendly. Post all of the memes of Jonathan. Did you see the one at the dunk contest after Mac McClung's final dunk? Jonathan Majors is like, "Whoa, wow." That one, make that just as popular as Leonardo DiCaprio when he was sitting back on his chair and he goes, you know the one. I hope you know the one, but make it just as possible as probable, popular as my boy, who's the fat guy from Superbad when he was sitting in in the Oscars and he goes like that. Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill. Make Jonathan Majors part of the pop culture just as much as Kevin Hart is, and just as much as other popular memes are. Okay? When he's not guilty, verdict pops off. Go on Twitter. Go find the tweets with the most retweets and then retweet the shit out of it. Go on the Shade Room because I'm sure they'll talk about it. Double tap that on Instagram. The YouTube videos. I know there's going to be a whole bunch of people who were tight lipped and not speaking on Jonathan, even with go like their videos regardless. Make it so that a crowd. No, I'm not gonna call this guy out, but there's some headlines right now coming from a YouTube channel right now, which are so incredibly disappointing. Guess who it is in the comment section? But I don't like doing the YouTube drama thing, but and causing fights between two YouTubers. But still, there's like a very disappointing guy. I think I'll never listen to with like it's not even the neutrality, which bothered me. Is the neutrality bothers me, but this guy was going heavy and hard against Jonathan. I feel like every day this week, not the first week of the trial, but the second week of the trial was just like, damn, you really? And I'm looking at the comment section and they're like disagreeing with him. And I'm like, yeah, you sound so stupid. Go on those YouTube channels that promote his not guilty verdict. Go on the John Campias of the world. Go on the and he's not the guy I'm dissing. I'm saying go to John Campia and like the video where he reports that it was a not guilty verdict. We got to respect our peers, everybody. Let's put that matter to a closing and get on and upward. And then Robert Meyer Burnett, yeah, man, that's what the system's all about. Let's thumbs up these videos of these guys who are going to cover it finally, who've been tight-lipped or have been neutral or have been giving you reports, but they're reading from some of our friendly reporters who are not Danny Does Law. I'm going to be chatting with Danny Does Law. I should be chatting with her tomorrow, and that should be up. It would be covering the last previous 4 days of this week, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It should be covering those 3 days of this case and what she saw, what she observed, and and Thursday also with the closing arguments. And then that will be the last time I think I'll ever speak to her in my life. The last time I do it, it'll be then. Bump that video up. We're gonna start. I'm gonna start with just summarizing the first time we spoke. What did she say on the stand? What did happen on the second time we spoke? We'll probably take care of that in the first 10 minutes of the video. And then the next hour, however long we go, she'll just fill us in on the Chloe witness, the officer witness, all the officers, Lucario, Officer Swain, Sergeant Hansen, from what T-Pain says, from Wisconsin. That sergeant, that guy's gonna be part of it. We're gonna listen to everything. And have a better idea of what just happened, bro. Thanks to all the new people who just found me. A lot of new people who found me, a lot of new people who care about me because of this trial. I promise you, I'm not going to be talking about Jonathan Majors much unless it's in a movie format, which I'll be talking about Creed number 3, where he plays Diamond Dame Anderson. And we're going to have like a more of a focus on him. I'm going to invite a panel to talk about it also. And that's the bread and butter of this YouTube channel where we're mostly on entertainment. Should another one of our famous superheroes be arrested, it's on camera. The police were racially profiling. The one accusing him says he didn't do it, recants the statement, and then joins the district. Should this happen, and there's video of this accuser who's at the club perfectly uninjured without the finger fracture that we saw a photo of, which we did not see her finger that purple all the night prior. Should that happen to another actor, I'm gonna be on it. I'm not gonna use this platform that you have boosted me up to, each of one of you who hits the subscribe button, to make Chillmonger go from, I was in the 3,000s when I started. Today I'm in the 4,000s, reaching 5,000. You want that 5,000 subscriber guy to be this 5,000 to be a 5 million subscriber guy, so that when shit pops off, you already know how I'll act accordingly. When something of this magnitude happens, I'm not going to waste the platform while oppression and slander is being done on my brother who I've never met, Jay. When that's happening, I'm not going to sit back and report, "Oh, can't say anything, can't choose a side, everybody. Oh, did you see that? It's going to trial. That must mean that there's something there." No, I will always be alert and conscious of the social climate, and that's who I have been. Not since this trial began, where like thousands of you started watching my video. There's a playlist. You could see me evolve and change from wonder what happened to as evidence came out, as Jonathan started claiming, or through his attorney, telling us that, I'm the one who dialed 911. Hey, I'm the guy who, or rather, she was at the club, or here's some photos. As the things were building, I'm going, oh, this is clear, and I'm not going to be iffy about it, wishy washy, and try to be like a guy who hasn't decided that I'm sticking up for my brother who I never met, Mr. J. And for the live stream yesterday. If you don't get it, then you don't get it. I'm out. Here's the live stream from yesterday if you want to see what I'm talking about here. Here's the live stream from yesterday.